welcome to the Please Do Tell podcast. I'm your homegirl, Ronnika, and we are introducing our newest co-host. I've known him damn near all of my life, but he may be new to you, but you will get very comfortable with him very soon. So I throw it over to my good pal and friend, Jeffrey. We just want you to introduce yourself because I'm just excited that we're actually doing this. What it is,
Absolutely.
yo.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's a pleasure and honor to even be asked to be a part of the Please Do Tell podcast. Just in the space of us knowing each other for 30 some odd years, we won't keep saying how many years, but knowing that we've kind of like created this conversation over those years, whether it was, for me aggravating you in the beginning to us mixing over time and then just being adults and using our professional judgment in everyday life. So it's a pleasure. It's an honor. I am Jeffrey Booker, since I did not introduce myself. And I am originally from Michigan. However, I reside in New York City now, and I look forward to it.
Woo! Come on now. We're trying to do all of this before whatever tornado watch is actually going on in Michigan, because you all know that I am still in Michigan until further notice, okay? And just until Jeffrey tries to pull me to New York City like he tries to do often, okay?
Absolutely. It's the yanking pull, the yanking pull.
All of our lives, all of our lives. So we want to talk about why we love stories. Like we talked about a little bit about, well, Jeffrey didn't really get a chance to dive into who he is. You all know me, I feel like, quite a bit, especially if you've listened to past episodes. But then you get to see like a new side of me because we're not recording in an actual studio. We're actually talking virtually, and I'm able to be a little bit more relaxed. You will see so many different sides of me and how honestly I interact with one of my longtime friends. So it's really, you all are kind of entering a little bit of the group chat, but not really. Like just a little bit.
Well, sometimes I miss the text in the group chat, so like that's okay. It's recorded. You can always come back.
Right. Okay, so Jeffrey, tell us about you even falling in love with storytelling. Like, is that
Uh,
something like just tell us about it?
well, I mean, growing up in a black household, I mean, storytelling is everything. Whether it was from my standpoint, or whether it was a great grandmother or a motherly figure, period, because from a cultural standpoint, a lot of the women were the storytellers. So from that standpoint, I just picked up on it. I knew that when my cousins would come over, because I'm an only kid, my cousins would come over. I knew it would be story time because a lot of times there was not much for us to do. Just
Right.
imagine if it's five, six kids, seven, eight kids at grandma's house. It's not much to do. So what she's
Mm-hmm.
gonna do, entertain you with some random stories, whether it could be biblical stories of telling you about the Bible and how she, you know, um, was raised on the Bible, or it could be another biblical story about what happened at the church last Sunday, so it could be anything, but it gave me the ability of being open, and then also listening,
Mm-hmm.
because when grandma speaks, you better listen, even if it's not, for you to repeat.
Right.
So, but you better be listening.
Now,
So,
a fun fact with about Jeffrey and I is that our maternal grandmothers, and well, my grandmother was a twin. Her and her twin were friends with Jeffrey's grandmother, and they all attended church together. So my oh my, just the stories, just amongst those three women right there.
man, I remember, whether we were, at the tax house, or if we were going, where was community goods, or, just somebody was cooking food, each one of those women had their own thing, and they always had stories. Always had stories.
What is one of my favorite lines? A pill a day will keep the babies away. But if not, name her Betty, which is my grandmother's name.
Yeah, I don't know. Them stories, man. And then once you get to a certain age, you be like, I'm over it. I'm
Yeah,
over it. I'm over the
right.
stories.
Yeah,
I'm over the
yeah,
stories. But
yeah.
it's almost like full circle. It's like an evolution. It's almost like it's like synergy because what it does, it starts here, but it rotates back around. And now here I am, one of the older ones in the family, and I'm busy telling the stories constantly
Mhm.
over that. I'm thinking to myself that my nieces and nephews got to be like, do we have to hear this story one more time? But each time it's got a little bit of flavor, a little bit of, each time it has maybe a little oregano. This time it may have a little rosemary. It can be anything. You know,
Look,
but
ricotta.
it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, every time, or it's gonna have a different twist to it. And it's like, damn, I ain't heard that before.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm, okay. Um, what can our well, we just see how we bounce off of one another, so the listeners can expect a lot of this energy, a lot of stories, and of course, a lot of culture. So, Jeffrey, I want you to just quickly talk about okay, so we're from a small town, and every year you would do, every February, you would highlight for the entire month people from our hometown that are doing great things all across the country and the world. Tell me why something like that was so important to you to even do when it comes to.
Well, I mean, just a little bit of background. Education is important, and I think that's kind of like how a '80s baby was kind of like formed, especially someone that graduated, as a millennial. And they told us you go to college. Now we learning 20 years later that maybe that wasn't just the alternative. But anyway, in that, I lost my train of thought. Totally lost my train of thought
You
in
were
that.
saying you wanted to go back. You wanted to start.
Oh
You wanted.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. So it's just a historical perspective. So from that, excuse me. From there, you just I want to build upon it, as in, how can I get from point A to point B? Because we know that communication is important. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, I lost that train of thought. I never got back to it. I tried to get back to it. That mom was just so leaving me. I was like, don't leave me, thought.
Okay, so I was asking you about why was it so important for you to even highlight those individuals from all walks of life that come from the same streets as us, for not only you weren't only highlighting it for our community, but it was so many people that were touched. Because the quick story for me is that I have a friend that moved away in early elementary, and she was looking for me because her mother had found a picture that we had took for Halloween, like back in the early 90s, and she found me because of your highlight.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so
From a
okay, so
picture
yeah,
from the 90s?
from a picture from the 90s, she was like, okay, I'm gonna just see if she's out here on Facebook. And she said, oh my God, it's her. It's really her. And I haven't
Wow.
seen her since 99, maybe.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy. That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
It was a couple things. One, it was just highlighting the people during that era when I first started, because we did it for 7 years. I started it, and then me and you collaborated on it the remainder of the years. I want to say maybe like the last 5 years we may have collaborated on it. But what I wanted to do is, in social media during that period of time, was that people were just posting stuff on social media just to be seen. And a lot of the doers, even though you're busy doing, but for you to really do, sometimes you have to be highlighted.
Yeah.
Others have to be, as I was once told, to be very effective. Someone has to speak on your behalf in a room when you're not. So when that was the perfect opportunity. So what I did is I just started like, hey, I'm gonna go through random, and only thing that was consistent about it, it was a guy and a female. It alternated the days, but that's where it really picked up. I didn't think that it was really have a lot of impact. I just wanted to highlight people because I thought it was important that somebody sees what you're doing, so continue to do it. But then once I did Black Music Month, which is in June too, which was that same year, that first year, I knew that we were on to something because people wanted to learn. It was more about learning and being able to tell somebody else what you learn. And so that's why, again, that's storytelling, as in continuing the message, to move forward.
Would you ever do it again?
I mean, it's a lot of work. It's a great project that I would definitely collaborate with many others to put that project together, because I think it would be something that you could do in your individual community, or you could do it regionally, or we can rotate where the Midwest did the Southeast. Like, it's a lot of things that you could really do with this project. But I wouldn't want to do it just in a solo capacity.
Now you got my wheels turning.
Yeah, yeah. I thought about it. I mean, because I think I finished that project. We finished that project in 2017.
Yeah, I just moved. Like I was back maybe a couple years. I remember we were at my sister's house in like I guess her dining room area. Just like, okay, this is it. And you were like, the last photo is going to be, or the last highlight is going to be, I think you just said a black screen or a frame.
A mirror.
Yeah, a mirror.
A
And
mirror. The
yeah,
person was highlighted was the reader, the individual that was taking the time over the last 7 years to complete the series. Yeah, because
yeah.
you need to be highlighted, you yourself. So I thought it was a perfect, conclusion. But nobody, it's so much stuff that even those people that we highlighted over those 7 years and 28 days, they've done so much, for their communities continued. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Because every February, I still see people sharing those older
Every
photos.
at random, you'd be like, "Well, that was posted in 2010."
2014 or
Yeah, yeah.
something.
You're like,
Yeah.
"Wow, that
Yeah.
was years
Yeah.
ago." But
Yeah.
uh, but that's a highlight. Exactly what it is. We're highlighting a community to show that, just look, our community was, what was it, back in 2007, between 7,000 and $14,000 was the medium income. And, that's the medium income. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? And then they tell you to go to college and things of that nature. That could be overwhelming for a kid. That can be overwhelming for a new mother. That can be overwhelming for a new father. So sometimes you just gotta have something that's gonna you need something for you.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? And we talked about it before. Nothing wrong with being a little bit of selfish, because if you can't take care of yourself, then you can't help anybody else.
mm. I
So,
love that. I
yeah.
love that. Whew. Okay, so I know that we have a new segment that we're introducing, and it's called True or False.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Not true or false.
So so each one of us will tell a story, and we have to figure out which one is true and which one is false. Now, you could tell two false stories, or you could tell two real, you could tell a real and a fake.
I got
So I'm like, I don't know if you want to go first.
it.
Ah,
I'm new to this.
okay, 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 okay.
You true to this.
All right, okay, 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 okay. In historical, it doesn't have to be like history books. I know some people are like, oh, that's history books. No, history is something that happened in the past, and it could be to us. So, okay, here we go. So take a swig.
Not.
So once upon a time, I
Well, that's
went.
that's that's wrong.
Ah!
I'm sorry to tell you that already. My life does not start off with once upon a time.
Nah, do not. Okay. I'm gonna try to make it short too. So once upon a time, I was asked out on a date. I was a freshman in college. I was asked on a date by this guy to do like dinner and a movie. I said, okay, perfect. He said, you handle the movie and I'll handle the dinner. Great. So we went to the movies, and we went to the movies first. And when I went up to purchase the tickets, I had two movie passes. And he said, oh, no, oh, hell no. See, that's cheating. Yeah. So well, it's not like you have to pay for the ticket. So just let's just I don't even remember what movie it was, but let's just enjoy the show. So afterwards, he said, "Oh, do you want to go to Applebee's or Chili's?" I was like, "Well, I would rather go to Chili's because I mean we're in a small town, so we have so many options." But I said I would rather go to Chili's because I'm thinking I won't see that many people. No one's really going across the bridge to Chili's. We sit down and I begin to order food, and I said, "You know what? I'll do the boneless buffalo wings. I'll do a basket of fries." He was like, "Hold on, like you getting real? You ordering a little too much right now." This is from the appetizer menu, might I add. So the boneless buffalo wings, the fries, and everybody knows that I love a cherry lemonade. Like that's my favorite, strawberry
Mhm.
cherry lemonade. And he orders a water. And I said, "Okay." So I said, "Well, do you want me to share the food with you or?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna just get a plate and then, you just give me half of the fries and half of the chicken tenders or the boneless buffalo wings." I said, "Okay." I'm thinking to myself, I won't be seeing this motherfucker again. I just
Mhm.
won't.
Mhm.
And so he drove, so he drops me off at home and I just thought like, "Oh my gosh, now he also knows where I live." So I was the queen of ghosting. Sometimes I'm still the queen of ghosting. So he kept calling the house, trying to go out again. And my mom finally said, "You know what? She's just not into you. It's okay." He later on showed up at my house. That's again when she said, "You know what? The police department is right down the street. I need you to not come by here again." Now, have I seen her talk to this guy since then? No.
Mhm.
Um, wait. And I probably did see him like in passing, but have I talked to him since then? No. But yeah, that was one of those horror dates that I still bring up from time to time because it was funny as I don't know. But ooh, I was trying to
Bless
catch
you.
it before it came out. Thank you.
Bless you. That motherfucker, look, the date, he was out of it. No.
Huh. Okay, the end.
Well, we know that's a true story because yeah, I think I passed by him one time before. True. Yes, that's a true story. Now give me the false one so I can once upon a time it.
It could be two reals and two fakes, or a real and a fake.
Oh, okay. Okay, my bad. My bad.
Okay. Do you want to go next, or do you want me to get both of them out the way?
No, let's go back and forth. I'll
Okay. Yes.
jump in.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
One real, one fake historical story. All right, man.
Okay.
All right.
It's gonna be BS. I can feel it.
Shoot, it was a dark and stormy November. No, I ain't gonna start that. Um, let's see, a good story.
Going.
Don't want to start off on the wrong foot.
Mm.
um, all
Yeah.
right. It
Okay.
was first party, college, historical figure. So I went to school, Western Michigan University, not that far from like my hometown, but far enough. So from that standpoint, like in the state of Michigan, you got like as they would consider like five urban cities: Saginaw, Muskegon, Detroit. Um, what's the fourth one? Saginaw, Muskegon, Detroit,
Flint.
Flint, okay, water, Flint, and then Benton Harbor. Well, our school is close to, well, the school that I attended was in Kalamazoo. And so Kalamazoo people, all of a sudden, they don't like Benton Harbor people. So it's like a little rivalry thing, but it's just like a hood rivalry versus an almost hood rivalry. And so growing up, I wasn't hood growing up. I obviously I was college boy. I went to college. So but when you went to the parties was everybody. And so I remember one time going to this party and this guy he was from Benton Harbor. Actually, I didn't know who he was because he was maybe class of '90s. So maybe shout out to him. Maybe he can chime in and confirm the story next time. But we were at the Blue Dolphin. I'll never forget it. And I remember them, they were like asking where he was from, and they beat the hell out of that guy. I mean, he got beat down just on some random, on some cultural history stuff, had nothing to do with him. I remember they reached around, they asked me, they said, "So where you from?" I said, "Ann Arbor." First and only time I denied my city, but I was 18 years old. I wasn't finna go down for that for nothing, man. No way, Jose. I knew then. Think quick. Be quick, 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 fast on your feet. Sure. No way. No, no, I'm Ann Arbor, the other side of the state. Put it like a real Michigander. I'm over here now. Not over here, over here. So, yeah, that's my one random historical cultural story from the Midwest. Well, from Michigan, from Michigan.
How fake is that?
What?
That story.
No, that's a true story. That's a true story. That's a true story. Blue Dolphin, downtown Kalamazoo, August of 2001. That's how real that
Okay,
story
Ann Arbor. I think
is.
I was stuck on, okay, who could it be from the 90s that got their ass whooped?
I don't know. I don't know. Cause I didn't, I had older cousins, but I didn't have like um I didn't have well, I got an older sibling, but we weren't really, that's for my
Yeah.
father's side of the family. So we weren't as close. So I didn't know a lot of the old heads when it comes to like our community. Like I learned them after I moved back and became older and ran for mayor and on the school board, stuff like that. That's how I met them because then their kids, I was at the Boys and Girls Club. Excuse me, as the people who do not know me, I wasn't just at the Boys and Girls Club. I used to work for the Boys and Girls
We
Club.
both
Just,
did.
just throwing that out there.
Right. Don't get it twisted.
Right, right, right.
We were adult leaders at the time. Okay. That was a good one. Okay, so once we stop, I need to know who the person is, because I know you're not. Uh,
Not a clue. I would have to ask somebody like for real, for real.
ooh, I know who we could probably ask. Yep. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that same person popped
I'm
in my
like, I'm
head.
like,
Yep, yep, same
yep.
person popped in my head.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. What's my next story? All right. Once upon a time. Once upon a time, we know that we're in Michigan and the roads get really slick during the wintertime. And back in the day, it was so many kids in the community, so it would be a lot of us at one bus stop. It was very rare unless you were picked up in like Millburg or somewhere like that. It was a lot of kids in your neighborhood, and you all caught the school bus in one spot. So one of those spots could be like Highland Projects, Bus Projects. Well, high was it Blossom Acres? Okay, yes, one of those spots.
Not Blossom Acres.
Or as they call it now, Highland, Michigan, which I think is highly offensive. But anyways, waiting for the bus, and there's one person running behind. And we're seeing like, okay, it's snow, it's ice out here and everything. And the bus will leave you, because there's been plenty of times that I've been standing at the bus stop and the bus drivers went past me. If he hasn't seen like multiple kids there, he would go just, and sidebar, this man was also the organist at our church. So I would go in on Sunday like, bruh.
He organizing the kids during the week and the choir on the weekend.
But he wasn't picking us up during the week. It was like, He used to say, if I didn't see you from the corner, I'm gonna keep going. Like I could be walking up. So he wasn't on our route long. But anyways, so it's snow and ice outside. And you see this kid just taking off, taking off, taking off. And they get right to the step to step onto the bus because they made it. They didn't make it. They slid under the
Oh
bus.
shoot! Wow! 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 Wow!
And he just laid there.
Mm-mm. Get up, get up, son.
Just laid there as everyone on the bus erupts in laughter. He was so embarrassed
Oh wow!
that he got up and walked back home.
That's a believable story. Because Michigan would be so cold that if something so bad happened to you like that, you would just start back over. Yeah, that's a believable story. I believe it.
So it's let me give you the best. And my sister's gonna be like, I can't believe you just. So Jennifer was really into journalism and English. Jennifer is my sister. And she used to call me during recordings of episodes, which I keep looking at my phone like, oh, it's not like she hasn't called me. Um, she knew the story about our cousin that happened to him outside of Highland, Michigan. He was a group of them, what was it, in the 80s, and he running for that bus and went to step on the bus and slid under the bus, and then he wasn't. So that was a true story for him, just not for us.
Mhm.
So
Well, yeah, well, it's a Michigan story.
yeah.
Sure, it's believable. It gets so damn cold in Michigan. Mm-mm. No, thank you. Well, I was just out there a month ago, I think it was. Cold, just cold, cold. You know,
Hmm.
like I moved here. It gets brick, but not like Michigan. Not like Michigan.
No, no, not like freezing your nostril hairs. Not like,
Mm-mm. Yeah, 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 yeah. When you first come outside and you breathe
like,
in,
ooh.
you're down there
Yeah.
suffocating, tight. They get in you down. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, yeah.
All right, it's your go.
All right, story. Okay, I gotta give a New York story. Just gotta find one. Cause this place is Narnia, dog. So, yeah. So it's always a story. Um, I don't want to be negative. I don't want to give no negative community behaviors.
Oh, well, it has to be
Um,
real or fake. That's all it has to be.
um,
I'm nervous now.
man, yeah. Ha! Let's see. Um, New York. Yeah, let's go with this one. Um, so I used to. We talked about Boys and Girls Club. And so you had an opportunity of working with young people. So I had an opportunity of working typically with ages 13 and up. So when I first got out here to New York, a lot of times you're doing college tours, things of that nature. So you're doing a lot of travel. I've done that with Michigan, Indiana, Illinois. But to New York, it's a whole different means. So we decided that we were going to go to one of the schools in Midtown on a Friday at 5 o'clock to do a meeting with their law students. So I took about a group of 20. Well, in most communities, you typically get in a school bus or a van, things of that nature, and then you go to said location. But that's what I normally would do. But it's New York City, so I had just moved here, so I had been here maybe 2 months, and so I knew that we had this trip coming up. But typically, it's easy. You just point A to point B. Well, they were like, "Well, we're gonna have to take the subway." Man, trying to take 20 kids on the subway in New York City on a Friday evening, pre-pandemic. Oh my God! I mean, and it was just like you were kind of herding kittens, because they're teenagers, so they're not really trying to hear you. And then, and then the train is packed, and then you got other young. Yeah, it was crazy chaos. Like it took us, it didn't really take long, but the anxiety level was so high because you have so many other people's children. I barely know these young people, but they've entrusted me with said kids. However, we went down there, got a chance to meet a lot of the lost students, and actually the that was in 2017. One of the young kids that actually went on that trip, he actually went back and actually enrolled. His first year of enrollment was in 24 to that institution. So, long story short is even though it was a lot of anxiety for me, it was impactful for that kid. So, yep. Random story. It's random New York. I told you I wasn't gonna get no bad story. I wanted to give a good fluffy story too.
Okay.
It's just a fluffy story today.
Okay. I'm over like
So you was waiting on the punchline. No
I
punchline.
was like,
One of the kids
no.
failed? No, no, no. I couldn't give two fallen kid stories now.
Two fallen scholars.
Yeah, two fallen stars. Mhm.
All right. Well, neither one of us told a fake story.
I think I love the concept, truth, but we have so many stories.
We do.
I mean, that's
Who
the
needs to
the art
tell a
of
fake one?
storytelling. You said
Yeah.
what?
I said, who needs to tell a fake one?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. If that's the case, I'll go watch Netflix.
Oh, I
Fake
should
story.
have. I should
Fake story.
have. You know what? I'm gonna save my ridiculous, unexpected, or wild historical event that still makes you laugh. I know what to tell. I already know
Uh-oh.
because I just brought it up. Was it this week or no, last week at work.
Mhm.
So yeah, are you ready for that part of the foolish
Absolutely.
the foolish
Absolutely.
segment? Da-na-na,
Absolutely.
da-na-na.
Absolutely.
So this
Absolutely.
is where we tell a ridiculous, unexpected, or wild historical event that still makes us laugh or shake our head. So Jeffrey made me go first last time. You gonna make me go first this time as well?
I will step to the plate. I will step to the plate.
Where's my champagne?
Wildest historical event.
Ready.
Okay, now look, I didn't look. I was waiting on the chime. I didn't hear
We
it.
got props. We got props. You didn't hear it. You didn't hear
I hear it now.
it. Bring it
Uh,
on.
Wild historical event that makes you shake your head.
Or laugh. Laugh makes you still makes you laugh or shake your head.
9/11 still does it for me. I was watching this thing on Mojo. I think it's mojo.com. They run through YouTube, and they were like going through like 50 historical events that changed the course of life. 9/11 is still like top three. But it's crazy because I was thinking about this last night about 9/11 is a lot of people just won't know what 9/11 really was or what it really consists of prior to. Kind of like with the transition from COVID. So yeah, I'm gonna say 9/11. I was just going off to school. I had been away at college 2 weeks, and I think three of the pilots were enrolled at the institution that I attended. So they immediately shut the school down. So it was a surreal moment. It was one of those first times where you shook your head and you coalesce with friends that you didn't really know. And what I mean by that is, I knew six people that came from my high school that went to the same institution. But outside of those six, who I was not really exactly extremely close to when I was in high school, I didn't really know anybody else that was in my vicinity. So you really had to rely on a lot of people. The impact of it, just one last part. I knew about 9/11 the morning of because my first interview in undergrad was that morning. It's at the College of Education. And the
Mm.
person who was interviewing me, she brought me in and I noticed that she was nervous and kind of shaky. I said, "Everything okay?" She said, "Yes and no." She said, "Because my uncle works at the Pentagon and we don't know if he's okay." So that's when you kind of just knew. I remember leaving from that interview. I got the job, by the way. Shout out to that job. I went to Cancun later that year. Shout out. Anyway,
I remember the pictures. Yeah.
then I went over to the student union, and then that's when I saw the second tower fall. So
Mm.
yeah, it was 9/11 does it and continue for me.
9/11 will always do it for me as well. That was my senior year of high school, and that was also the decision that I think my parents and also because Chantel and I, which is one of the heartbeats, we had decided junior year, like, oh, we're going to Howard. And then 9/11 happened. It was like, mm-mm. Our parents was like, nah, nah,
Yeah, you
dog.
going to Howard this time?
Nah, dog. Nah, dog. Pick somewhere else. So yeah, that will always be also in my top three. I think for me, since I want to be a little different, COVID. COVID still has my head spinning. Even when I go on social media and I see people in the comments saying that COVID was years ago, as if COVID only lasted in 2020. Um, I think about that January, I was in California visiting my aunt who is in her 90s, my paternal grandmother's sister. And just the great time that I had. I believe it was also during the Super Bowl I was there, San Francisco. I was in San Francisco. I flew in and out of San Francisco. And I remember that March, everything shutting down and then people really acting like it wasn't a real thing. I think that's what it was, just like the way that we were not taking it seriously until it hit home was a real problem and continues to be a problem for me. Um that's one of the ones I think, and I think that's also the meter for a lot of things we'll say, like pre-pandemic or post-pandemic.
I don't want to cut off, but I think that's a whole segment that we could actually chime in with
Yeah.
others about COVID, because
Yeah.
COVID did so many things for so many different people, so many different ways. Because,
Mhm.
like you said, people weren't really abiding by COVID. I lived in New York City during COVID, so they were hitting pans. The people on the TV, yeah, they were in my apartment building hitting pans because you heard sirens for 24 hours for days. They never, ever, ever stopped. So you had to stop, and then they put us in, and nothing was open after 8 o'clock. So it was, and you hold down 10 million people after eight
In New
o'clock.
York City.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. And then for me personally, I needed COVID, at
Yeah,
different
yeah,
parts of
yeah,
your life. And people be
yeah.
like, "What do you mean?" That'll be something we talk about later. You know what I mean? So it was just, COVID was, yes. Okay, COVID and 9/11.
Yeah, right. Because I mean, I even find myself in the grocery store now. I don't really, I glance at people. I don't really, because I felt like when we all had our mask on, I was forever staring at someone like, do I know this person? But the beautiful thing is with working with kids, and my sister would reminded me of this years ago at one of my aunt's funerals, is that she said, always look at the eyes, they never change. And so
Mm,
the kids would see me out at the store and be like, Miss RJ. I mean,
okay.
I have on a hat and everything. Miss RJ, is that you? Yeah. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, how'd you know it was me? I know you. I know your eyes.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Impact. Impact.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, okay. All right. Okay. So, you ready for rapid fire?
Actually, I like the one segment we just did, foolishness. I like that. That was pretty dope.
I know. I
I
really
like
like that one. I think
that.
yeah. So, that one definitely needs to stick.
Yeah, that event. Now, there be events happening all the time.
All
All the time.
see the climate we're in all the mother blucking time.
Hmm. Hmm.
Let me make sure because I almost put a message in the wrong group chat today, and I was like, oh, slow it down.
Who you think you is the Trump administration put in the wrong group chat? Come on now.
And this was just a surprise, so I'm just like, surprise, surprise, surprise,
For
surprise.
real. Shoot. Mm-mm.
Okay, so we're ready for rapid fire.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If you could time travel, where would you go?
Am I doing first or are you?
You can go first. If you could time travel, they always repeat it to give you a little extra time. If you
Hmm.
could time travel, where would you do you have the questions too? Do you have them up or you want me to okay. If you could time travel.
I was trying to act like I was without. I'm peeking. I'm
Where
peeking.
would your black ass go?
Mm-mm, yeah, I'm peeking. But no, I actually love this question because one of mine is time travel. You know, we historians, we love that. I probably would go. Well, two. I got two answers.
All right. Bring it on. All right. Bring it on.
All right, give me like 1970 to 79. Okay, that's a time period. Them 70s, I'm gonna party up. Like I'm
Yeah,
gonna
me
treat it like
too.
I'm gonna treat it like I don't really think we're gonna get to 1999. I'm gonna really have fun. I've done
Gosh.
this thing called life many decades now, so I can really give me them next nine and I'm fine. But yeah, I would love to.
Dancing, yeah.
The 70s, the era, the clothing, the people, the
Mhm.
inclusiveness, the free spirit. Yeah. Kind of laid back. Give me that. And then I guess the second one, runner up would be the 90s, only because the 90s have come back as probably one of the most powerful generations of staying power that I've seen. I lived the 90s and then it circled back and like you said, we work with youth.
Yeah.
They love it, and it just seemed like the 90s just never kind of left. And maybe because we had so many stars, Michael Jordan's in the 90s, Tiger Woods is towards the end of the 90s,
Tupac, Biggie, all of
Tupac,
that.
Biggie, hip hop doesn't begin, but it explodes in the 90s, and then yeah, I don't even want to dig down and be like, well, female rappers, things of that nature, because female rappers been around, just as long. So but yeah, the '90s R&B, you know, um, it still had a rawness to it with character.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I meant. Because '70s it was rawness, maybe not so much character.
Put my
But the
time.
'90s would be rawness with character for me.
Yeah. Okay. So the next question you got to throw at me. I don't think I answered that one. I think we just go back and forth.
Okay, which historical figure would you want to have dinner with?
Oh my gosh. Who would I want to have dinner with? Oh my gosh, there's so many. I wish I would have looked at these damn questions earlier. Because I definitely didn't. Who would I want to have dinner with? Um, I know so many people would say Oprah, and I was like, yeah, but gosh, and they don't have to be famous.
Mm-mm. Well, it says historical figure.
I mean, he's in the history books now, but um, daggone, who would I want to eat with? It's so many people. I'm going to go with. Uh, oh my gosh. I know. Ida B. Wells.
And why?
This is a
Inform us.
okay. This is a woman that was tapped to be a part of the women's suffrage movement by Susan B. Anthony, but she basically told her that you have to choose this movement over family. Ida B was like, nah. I'm a rock with the culture over here, and I'm gonna put my pen to paper. She really used her voice in such a way to really elevate and really give a voice to what was going on in the culture in the early 1900s with all the lynching, just with the we're going from slavery to Jim Crow to now going into the civil rights movement. Yeah, I would want to have dinner with Ida B. Wells.
Wow. How what era is Ida B. Wells?
What do you mean, like the early 1900s?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, early 1900s.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when she
A woman a part of the talented 10th? Like what? A black woman? What are we talking
I
about?
wonder what was her interaction with Frederick Douglass.
Is, are you so you answering that? Would you want to have is
I'm
that
asking. I'm asking. That's random. That's a random question. Even if they're errors, I'm a big Frederick Douglass. Well, many people probably don't know this, but I'm a big Frederick Douglass fan. Like he's my favorite from his century when it comes to black leadership. So that's why I was asking. And I know he had did some work with um, I want to say it was Susan B. Anthony, if I'm not mistaken. Like it was during his birthday back in 2018. I went to the historical museum out here in New York. Random, just walked in, just elegant evening, and learned so much about Frederick Douglass. It was crazy, and about his interaction with Susan B. Anthony, and how, if I'm not mistaken, and how they were kind of like into it with each other
Mhm.
towards like the end of their, because they had two different movements going. You got women's suffrage, you got black rights, so it's just like, yeah,
Yeah. Of course the computer isn't working over like on my laptop like but I got that from just watching because when this is also the beautiful thing about being on a HBCU campus, and I just wanted to know more about my people is that I would go to the library and I wasn't checking out books, I was checking out documentaries. So I was checking out all these documentaries that were produced by either PBS or somebody else, and that's how I was able to learn more about our historical figures. But just to hear like those little known facts, like, oh, Ida B was like, like you, I can do both. So you're telling me I can't do both? I can
right,
do both. I can
right,
be a
right,
wife
right,
and a mother and fight for women's rights, but you're
correct,
telling me to choose.
correct.
Absolutely not. So Frederick Douglass actually died in 1895. So before
Gotcha.
1900.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't think he made it into the 1900s, but yeah.
Yep.
He was really big in the 19th century.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Mm.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, because we're going on a tangent. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Uh-huh. I'm over it. Uh-huh. Okay. Best storytelling advice you've ever received.
scare money don't make no money.
Oh.
You make it real, real fast. Scare money don't make no money. Or actually, I'm gonna quote my cousin: "Big risk, big reward." Yeah.
Well, all right.
Yeah. Shout out to Rob. Big risk, big reward.
I won't call him his nickname on here. Absolutely not. Respect
Shout
him because I love
out.
him. I will respect him. Okay. All right. I'm looking at the last question. I'm like,
I got you. What's one story you can't wait to tell this season? Well, if you tell it this season, you already done, so it's got to be kind of a little teaser.
I can't wait to tell you all how I have been navigating entering this new decade of my life. And it's going to be very transparent. It's going to be uh yeah, a lot of lessons learned. I'm continuing to learn them. Um but really doing away, and I think the beautiful thing about actually coming back to doing this podcast after a couple months is that that imposter syndrome starts to creep in.
Hmm.
So I'm able to share with you all like how I've been navigating that and how I'm just excited to see what's to come.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So
Okay, that concludes rapid fire.
ah!
Pew
pew,
pew pew.
pew, 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 pew. I'm
Oh, I
surprised.
got a random story. I got a random story.
Bring it
That was a trigger. Oh man, that was a trigger. Random story.
on.
Man, have have you ever been at a place and you thought that you all were on the same team? But then when something happens, you just realize it just go ding, they're not on your team anymore.
Been there. Did a live about it.
Oh my God. One time sitting in a meeting and these two individuals, one individual had been talking about another individual, like back and forth. It was like office politics, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, it was like the opening of a meeting, and it's like 20 of us in it. And they're giving like shout outs, and all of a sudden, I hear the one person say, shout out to that person. And then the person says, pew, 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 pew. I said, that was a call and response. They they against me now.
They have banded together.
They had banded together,
Yeah.
man, and yeah. And look, it was so that's a trigger. So if I ever hear dee 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 dee, it's a trigger for me. And let me know you might want to go home soon.
Woo! It's like take a picture
Right,
and
right.
just like well, wrong camera because this is actually a I want to take a swig.
Oh, I was gonna say that's a
So if you ever see me with this, it's not water in here, ladies.
wow, wow. Okay, 80s.
Right. But my real camera is right here. You know, I keep a good prop. But
Mhm.
yes, yes, yes. But okay, now I know. Pew, 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 pew. Okay, I got it. Okay, okay, okay. So I don't know which way it's coming from.
And
Okay.
watch out. Mm-mm.
All right, you all. This is our first episode together, so I'm
Absolutely.
so
Yes, it
excited.
is.
But we do want you all to like, subscribe, and just engage with us on social media. I know Jeffrey, if you want people to find you on social media,
I
you let
will.
us know.
Now
And
I'll add it now. Actually, I'm on social media. You can find me on Instagram. Actually, that'd be probably the easiest, best place. Right now, I am in the middle of a boycott of Target. We do not believe in Target. Personally, this has nothing to do with the podcast. I know this random. It's my first day. I may lose my job because I just did this, but I don't support Target. All right, you heard it. So, but my Instagram is at Mr. Fantastic World. Mr. Fantastic World. All one word. At Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Fantastic World.
those stories are his Instagram stories are worth watching daily.
Oh man, you always see something.
It's always a good time. And I am on Instagram at Ronnika Ronnika dot Williams. There is another Ronnika Williams, so it's funny that you might bounce back and forth between us on Facebook, but on Instagram I am at Ronnika dot Williams. So, but we also have the Please Do Tell podcast YouTube page, and the Patreon is where you will be able to see like our facial expressions and our foolishness even more. But right now you're hearing our voices and our audio. But If you want to see us there, if you want to find us in other places, that's where you can find us. But so the next episode theme, listen, we're starting to do this in the month of April. We were planning to do this in the month of March during Women's History Month. But just know that there's some great things coming down the pipeline, and we are excited to just bring it to you with the Please Do Tell podcast. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, y'all. Until next time, we'll holla.